Now, we move on to the use and application of Leukoplast Skin Sensitive, and this will be brought to you by Sister Liesel Nordier. Now, before we go to Liesel, I'm going to give you a little bit of a background on her. Liesel Nordier is a clinical nurse specialist in advanced wound care and the founder of Eloquent Learning Health and Eloquent Health and Wellness. Liesel has been on the forefront of wound management in South Africa since the inauguration of the Wound Healing Association of Southern Africa. You'll know that particular company as WHASA, and that happened in 2005, and as a founding member. And in establishing the organization and the official journal Wound Healing Southern Africa, WHSA. Throughout her career, she has received many awards, such as Best E-Poster Award in the European Wound Management Association, at the 2017 conference for her work in intermittent vacuum therapy in wound healing. Ladies and gentlemen, as we do, will you please give a big round of applause to Sister Liesel Nordier.
Hi everyone, what an exciting first round with Trish. You've probably learned so much and I can't just wait to follow on what she's told you. We're going to look at a few things that she's mentioned and more look at it into a practical format. My task was given to really evaluate Leukomed skin sensitive range in practice, the Leukoplast range. So for me, it was in my wound care practice to look at what I've got and to see how the Leukoplast skin range reacts to whatever I'm using in practice. So if we look at the definition for when we use wound care products for fragile skin, when skin tears occur, it is vital that the wound care products chosen will, firstly, optimize wound healing and not increase the risk of further skin damage. This should include specialist dressings and products to cleanse and moisturize the skin. Now, this is according to the Wounds International 2018 Best Practice Recommendations for Prevention and Management of Skin Tears in the Aged Skin. This definition, or this quote, is not only for the elderly and fragile skin, it is actually for all patients with wounds. We need to protect the skin. And what I've been faced with to do is to really see if the products that Essity supplies in the Leukoplast range will just do that. Now, Trish has already mentioned the ideal dressing for at-risk vulnerable skin. What is the requirements that we would like to have? It is my opportunity now to see if this range can really do this. Does it control bleeding? Is it easy to apply and remove? Is there atraumatic removal? And does it provide an anti-shear barrier? It's also important to think about this. Does it optimize the physiological healing environment? In other words, will it provide us with autolytic debridement when we need it? Or can we use it with other products specifically? What about moisture and bacterial balance and the temperature and the pH of the wound? For me, what was important to see if this product is really flexible and moldable for my patient. And of course, all of us are going to ask, is this cost effective? And again, we need to see what is cost effectiveness really. For me, cost effectiveness will be if I can have extended wear time of the plasters that I'm using. It also needs to be able to optimize quality of life and cosmesis. It has to be secure, but not aggressive, and it needs to retain. And most of all, non-toxic. We've got enough toxic things around us, and surely we don't want our plasters to be the same. So, according to Leukoplast Skin Sensitive range, their benefits are the following. It prevents skin stripping and tearing. It has atraumatic removal. It's a skin-friendly silicone adhesive, and it's a reliable adhesive. So my task was to really see if this is the truth. Does these type of dressings really do this? Are they going to do all that they claim that they're supposed to be doing in this save our skin stage that we're living on? So the first product that I had to evaluate was the Leukomed Hypafix skin sensitive plaster. For me, what I really liked about this product is that it was able to secure dressings with ease. It's flexible, it's moldable, it's very easy to apply, and it's certainly conformable. As you can see here from the pictures that I've showed you here on the screen, on the far left, you can see that it's got a plastic covering. So just make sure that you remove it correctly beforehand, and you can use this to secure any type of dressing. Important at this stage is when you use this to secure a dressing, please make sure that the foam dressing or whichever dressing you choose can cope with moisture. If there's any leakage from your primary dressing, this Hypafix skin sensitive plaster might not be able to stay in place and might not be so secure because of the moisture going underneath the silicone. And as we all know, when silicone gets wet, it's not going to adhere that much. So just make sure of that. Once you've secured the dressing on a well-dried skin, it sticks like mad and it stays in place. And as you can see, we use it in very difficult places between the toes, around wounds, where patients walk on their feet and it will still stay in the same position. We also use this in the maturation phase to protect the skin. And in the far right, you can see a patient with 2 areas that are protective with the skin sensitive so that he can wear his stockings without hurting the newly formed matured skin. In this slide, I would like to show you a video clip on how we've removed this the specific product. What is important here is that it's not even about breaking the mold. It's just about removing the product. And you can see from the slide over here how easily we can remove it. I've literally just pulled it back, not even breaking the tension. And you can see there was no markings on the skin at all. The patient's skin is clean, had no pain at all on removal. So the next product that I looked at was this Leukoplast skin sensitive tape. Now that might be a little bit out of the box, the way that I've used it, but this was the way that we would have used other products post-surgery to manage scars. And I wanted to see how this will react. So this is a 9-year-old girl with an old scar of more than 2 years. You can see very raised keloid and hypertrophic scarring, very concerned about her image and what other kids were saying about her scar. We started with this on the 2nd of August, so it's only recently. And as you can see on the first picture there with the first arrow, it was still a very raised scar. What was interesting for me about this product, within 10 days of securing the scar, we could see a difference. The scar was lighter, the keloid wasn't as prominent as it was in the beginning, and this was really child's play for this little girl. She's been able to use this herself. She could tear off the Leukoplast skin sensitive, apply it onto the wound, and then what we did, on top of the sensitive tape, we would apply pomegranate oil, or you could do any bio oil or vitamin E oil, and you can still keep the plaster secure. This worked exceptionally well for her, and for her the difference was that she could do it herself. A plus point for this product is the claim that it is on an antimicrobial spool, and I'll let the technical team talk to you more about that. For me, initially, I was sort of like baffled, how can this work? But in the long term, it does make a difference, especially if you send patients home with this. Here's some other examples of how we treated scars with this, and you can see how light the scars are. It helps to fixate scars afterwards and also prevents dehiscence. And I'm really looking forward to use this more and more in my practice. Also, my plastic surgeon that I work with is using this more and more for her patients as well. This is also a product that can be used in theatre to fixate tubes. And as you can see here in a patient where you want to close the eyes, the beauty of this is when you take it off, you don't rip the skin off. So it's much more skin friendly than some of the other products around. The following product that I did evaluate as well, which I'm really excited about, because waterproofing for a lot of patients is essential, is the Leukoplast T and T Plus skin sensitive. The beauty of these two dressings, whether it's the one with the island or not with the island, is that both are waterproof. They're extremely skin friendly. There's also an anti-shear barrier protecting the skin. They are very, very flexible and moldable, and it's very easy to apply them and also to remove them. The patients that I've used this specifically on were really happy with the product. Even the most obese patients with the abdominal surgery, as you can see in the second picture, was really fond of the product because it stayed in place and he could shower without any problems. If you look at how we apply and remove the Leukomed T range, it is very important that you remember why the dressing has markings on it. There's a reason where there's a 1 and a 2. Follow the steps. Start with number 1. First, remove the first layer. And as you can see in the first picture, we've placed it down already. Before you remove the second layer, it's so important that you support the dressing. So just remove one corner, Support maybe with your thumb, like I'm doing here in the picture, and then starts to slowly put it away. With this, you won't get any crinkles or wrinkles, and the dressing will stay in place. As you can see in the third picture, it adhered completely to her skin. It even followed where the wrinkles were in the skin and stayed in place. The best way to remove these type of adhesive plasters is that you break the tension. And you can see here on the fourth picture that I just lifted the corner and I broke the tension, as you can see in the fifth picture. This is the best way to remove any adherent plaster. What you see on the last picture is how not to do it. But this, I must be positive about this product. Even if you do remove it the wrong way, there doesn't seem to be any breakage in the skin or skin trauma. So for those of us who work in hospitals where our colleagues come and rip off dressings, this might be the safer alternative in protecting our patient's skin. It's not the best way to remove dressings, but certainly this will be more safer than the general practice. So the task was to see if these dressings are actually fitting the bill for the ideal dressing. Now, control of bleeding. Remember, you still need to stop the bleeding first. But if there's any bleeding or any leakage, this will definitely control it. It will stay in the dressing. It's not going to move anywhere else, and it will be isolated. So it does control bleeding. It's very easy to apply and remove. Just follow the 1-2 steps. There's no trauma upon removal, even if you do it the wrong way. It definitely provides a protective anti-shear barrier that we see when we use some of the products underneath stockings to help that, and also on the pressure risk areas. It definitely optimizes the physiological healing environment because it keeps everything that you need inside and whatever bacteria there is outside. So the moisture control is exceptional with these dressings. It's also flexible, and it definitely molds to wherever you want it to be, under the oxal, the knee, everywhere that you want. It's definitely, for me, cost effective. And the reason for the cost effectiveness is that I can leave it on for longer. It stays in place, and there's no other trauma associated with this. It definitely optimizes the quality of life of our patients. It means that I can use one dressing instead of two, and it stays in place. It gives them the opportunity to shower. It gives them the opportunity to do whatever daily activities they would like to do. It's a secure but not aggressive retention, even if you remove it the wrong way. And it's definitely non-toxic. Very important when we talk about all of this, still remember that basic dressing principles apply. If you are going to use this as a dressing to secure other dressings, you need to make sure that you choose the right dressing as your primary dressing, and don't blame the secondary dressing as the one that's not doing the job. Make sure that you choose the correct dressings. So from my side, did the Leukoplast range make a difference in my practice and to my patients? Certainly it did. And I'm excited to use this on more patients and to see in future what's going to happen, how long is the wear time. And I'm very excited about how scars are reacting to these plasters, and specifically to the skin sensitive. Remember, we need to save our skin. That's what this is all about, and skin matters. If you want to make a difference in your practice and wherever you are, why don't you give this a chance? Why don't you give the Leukoplast range a chance and see for yourself? And don't just take my word for what I've experienced in a very short period by evaluating the products, but see for yourself. You're welcome to contact me, visit our website, and thank you for the opportunity to share my thoughts on what I see in practice with you, and hopefully also prove Trish right in what the ideal dressing is. Now it's a task of the technical side to show you why this is all working so well.